If you want to make something stand out in your painting, then of course you can use a big yellow arrow, but there are also more subtle ways to do this. Now I'm gonna show you some possibilities because the list of possibilities is endless. And another thing is, if you do one thing, sometimes you do another thing as well at the same time. These things sometimes are connected. If you want your subject to stand out, you can use colors that are quite different than the colors that you've used in the rest of the painting. I've made some quick color sketches so you can see what I mean. Here you see an overall very grey setting. It's a rainy day in a city. And I want to attract the focus to this person with the umbrella, so I give the umbrella a vivid color that stands out. It looks totally different than the overall colors that you see in the image, so that grabs attention. And of course in this example it's relatively easy, because when you have a lot of gray colors and you put one vivid color in a spot, then that color automatically attracts attention. But you could also think like this: if you have a lot of green and you use a very contrasting color like red or magenta for instance, then that color pops out and the focus of the viewer will go to that spot. The second thing is you can play with sharp and unsharp parts. So we know that effect from camera. The photographer can choose at which spot he focuses, and that spot will be very sharp. And the parts outside the focus area are unsharp, blurry. This makes the subject stand out again. And in paintings we can do that more freely even, because we are not limited to the possibilities of the camera. And so we can choose which part we want to be very detailed and crisp, with hard edges. Hard edges help to make something look in focus. And when you want to paint things out of focus, make sure that you use softer edges and that the contrast between the colors also is less. When the contrast between colors is less, you also get that effect of softness. So in the foreground you often have more detail and more differences in light and dark and in color, and in the background that gets less. So you can make use of that knowledge and exaggerate things you want to exaggerate. The third thing is play with light and dark, and you can literally put something in the spotlight. And you see in this simple sketch that there is a big part that's totally in the dark, and the person sitting in the chair is in the spotlight. So all focus of the viewer goes to that person. Now this is a little bit extreme of course, but this is also a way that you can put the focus on something. Where do you put dark? Where do you put light? Another thing that's very important is where you place your main subject. There are some spots in paintings that grab our attention easier. So for instance, if I put an object in the center of the painting, then there's a big chance that the attention immediately goes to that subject in the center. And that's even more so when there's nothing surrounding it. And it can look a little bit static of course, but again, it is a way, if you absolutely want to grab all the attention of the viewer, then this is a way, and then you have a sort of static, harmonious kind of picture. But you can do the same if there's only one big object in your painting and you put it slightly to the left or slightly to the right. Same thing goes. So the attention of the viewer will go to that object. Also the difference in sizes of objects play a part. So a bigger object will attract more attention. So here we have the big vase. It attracts all the attention because there's nothing else. But when we put a second vase in the background, that's smaller of course because it's farther away, then still we see that the main object is that big vase in the center. And after that our eyes will drift off to the left to that second vase. But bigger objects grab more attention. Now the last thing that I want to focus on in this video is the play of lines, of direction of lines, is also very important. In photographs like this you can see that very clearly. You see perspective lines and they all point into a certain direction, and instinctively our eyes follow these lines, kind of what might be over there. And then we focus on the thing that we are pointed to. So here you see some example photographs, and in this quick color sketch you see as well that as soon as I add a winding path through the mountain, that we get sucked into the painting in the direction of the barn. Now, I'm curious if that was helpful. It's always great to get input from viewers for new videos. Thanks for watching, see you next time.